You should have started. You should
Yo,
have started.
hey, did you get that? Did you?
Yeah,
Hey,
you should have
yep,
started.
hey, I'm leaving that in the video, bro.
Yeah.
I'm leaving that in. Yeah, well, I know. Or I need to send you. Hey, where's my camera? Hey, Pete, yep. Hey, Pete, as soon as we said that, you said put me on game. I don't. Oh, really?
Well. We are back with another GSM, man. Gumball Sports Machine. It's me and Low on the low, you know what I'm saying? Here showing out because we got a couple people that ain't here, but we ain't gonna speak about that.
We're not gonna touch on it. We gotta rebrand. We can't call it GSM if he ain't here.
It
You know what I
almost
mean?
seems as if when somebody's team doesn't make the playoffs.
But I don't want to record.
Oh shoot. I didn't say it. Well, my bad. This is the show where we like, love, we laugh, and we do all that fun. You know what I'm saying? That fun stuff, man. But let's get right into it, man. There's some playoff games yesterday. Some playoff games today. Let's start with yesterday. Let's start with I feel as though was the game of the evening. Was the Rockets won. How you feel about that?
Yeah. A lot of controversy in that game. With obviously the Jimmy Butler injury and everyone going at Amen Thompson for what they think was a dirty play. Um, I'm gonna leave that till the end. I'm gonna touch on the game first, and then I'll come back to that. Um, Jalen Green, have a night. Dude had what? He had 38, and
Yeah.
Tyson was saying this on the pod the last time. One game he'll give you 10 points, and then the next game he'll give you 45, and there's no in between with Jalen Green. So, um, but they needed it. They needed some guard play to help out Sengun because obviously Sengun was the only one who came up in game one. And then Jalen Green came out in game two, and look what happened. Obviously, with the Jimmy injury, kind of didn't help that the Warriors got blown out, but no one came to play in Golden State that night anyway, so it really didn't matter. I think Steph was the leading scorer with 20.
Yep.
Right. So,
correct. End game 109-94. Jalen had 38 and Steph had 20.
I mean, really, no one came to play at Golden State. So, we'll see how it changes shifting back home because obviously Houston's been at home. They got the crowd, but playing in that Golden State arena, it's just a different time come
I was
playoff
gonna
time.
say, it seems like they might have the referees a little bit too, right?
They have. But hey, that's not on me. I don't decide all that. Um, but I want to touch on the play here. Because everyone, it didn't matter where you were going, Instagram, Twitter, um, everywhere. They were saying that Amen Thompson was, a dirty player for undercutting Jimmy Butler. Saying how, Draymond didn't even push him and all of this stuff. Um, but I think you have to look at it with some perspective, right? He's getting trapped in between not just Draymond, but then Steven Adams, who's right behind him. And if you look, Steven Adams is the one who gets him from behind and trips his leg up, and that's why he started to fall forward. Um, I don't think it was intentional in any way, and it obviously sucks that Jimmy got hurt. Um, I think they came out today, said no structural damage, but he's in jeopardy of missing game three. And that hurts, right? They have championship aspirations. We mentioned it the other day. They're the number one defense since Jimmy got there. So they've really been great with him in the lineup. And obviously this hurts, but if they're a good basketball team, like a lot of us think that they are, they'll find a way to win. And I think it's as simple as that. So
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that game rolls out in Golden State, man, because it's been real physical. It's been great to actually see, the Rockets get the dub though, because they played well during the regular season, and it seems like they're ready. It seems like they're ready. But it'll be interesting because if the isn't called the same way it's been called, like how are they going to play defense? Like,
yeah,
and then like the argument would be if you are a Rockets fan or likely on the coaching staff, if they change up the way they're calling the game now, it's just what are we doing here? Like call
yep.
the game how it should be called. Not just because we're in California now. But yeah, it was a great game yesterday, and I definitely think that Jalen needs to be more consistent if they actually want to win the series.
I agree. Speaking of calling though, did you see that Ime Udoka soundbite where he said, "Keep being physical. They're not going to call it."
Yeah,
Did you see
so
that?
I did, and often before I jump to conclusions, I try to jump to the comments. And so
Hmm.
in the comments, it says that he's actually commenting on the Warriors being physical with the Rockets.
Hmm.
It's like, so y'all can't buy into this or just play basketball. Don't get emotional about it. Stay focused. And I think that's dope. Like, I honestly thought that Ime was a dope coach when he was with the Celtics. So I always thought that he was gonna prosper if he had the right players. And he's doing it. He's showing.
Hmm.
He's a good coach, a good leader. Before we move on, real quick, I do want to say our hearts and prayers go out to Gil's son, man. He got in a car
Yeah.
accident. I did hear or see something saying that Gil's reached out to some people saying that his son should be okay. And so, that's good. That's good news. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy because he's got a lot of potential. You see the clips already. They say he's
Hmm.
already working out during the summers with NBA players, and the NBA players are already saying that this dude's got talent and a gift. So yeah, prayers go out to that dude and his family. Um,
Yeah. I think the good news is that because obviously they put him in a medically induced coma. And I think the good thing with that is that they later came out and said that it wasn't because of any internal damage. It was strictly because he just inhaled too much smoke, and it's like a precautionary thing. So from what I saw, they said that he was expected to make a full
come on,
recovery.
yeah,
So yeah, scary though.
yeah,
Running into I think they said it was a tree or a fire hydrant.
both.
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 Yeah, that's scary, dude. Prayers up.
Yeah. We can jump right into you want to talk about y'all's game or our game? Our game,
Uh,
I think, is fairly easy. Um,
yeah, your game is fairly easy, but we got to talk about that boy Paulo.
yeah. So Celtics win without JT, which is amazing for us. Porzingis had his forehead smacked open.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
uh,
dude, it was bad. Gee.
109, 100, and even 100. Celtics up 2-0 in the series. JB for 36 points. I believe he went 5 for 7 from three, 12 of 19 from the field. And
Mhm.
Paulo with 32 points. And Franz wasn't too far behind him actually this particular game, so it was a good thing. The Celtics had to share the pill, and we did what we do. But Great win, great win. JB show what he means for the green. We love him in Boston, and yeah, we appreciate what he does.
Yeah,
But
and it's nice
Paulo
to
is beast. Paulo's beast. He's next. I agree.
it's it's nice to have a second star behind your main guy that can go out and pick up the load when a guy either goes out or is having an off night. And the fact that they have JB, but not only JB, because I think Derek White does it too. And we saw it in game one. JT and JB were having an off night, and Derek White stepped up and he had 30.
Yep.
So I think it's just nice that you can have a guy that on any given night can step up and, contribute in a major way and help them get a win. And that's why, they are in the position that they're in. They are contenders. And there's a few teams where you look at them and you say they don't have a guy like that can do that if their next guy or if their top guy is not performing the way that he should, right? And I think that's how you sort of can separate the contenders from the pretenders. Is not only depth, because that's a really big thing, but do you have that second guy who can step up? And it's so nice to have JB running right behind JT. I'm sure Celtics fans were so happy that they didn't trade him to Brooklyn a few years ago, right now, because
Yeah, I
they
knew
were
everyone
talking
was
about it.
tripping when they were talking like that.
They was talking about it. But no, I know you sent that Instagram reel of there was another podcast and they were drafting that boy nice team, and if Paulo isn't on that list, I don't know who is, dog, because that boy is nice. Okay. And I even said it in our group chat.
6'10", 260, 270, quick as hell off the man. Got the midi.
Yeah, he's got it all. And I said it in our group chat. It might be time to start having some real uncomfortable conversations about Paulo Banchero. I think he might be a top three player in the East, right behind JT and Giannis. Right now,
Man,
he might be there.
that's tough to healthy Paulo. Yeah,
Yeah,
healthy
I mean,
Paulo. Yeah, you might be right.
he does it on both ends
That's
too.
what
You
that's what
can't
that's
you
you
can't
know
look
how I
at
love defense. And then and pause, you can't teach size, man. 6'10". And
yep.
he's strong.
It's like he's giving you 32, 12, and 6 on the offensive end, and then on the defensive end, he's going out and he's playing defense. He's playing great defense at that. So
You know what's scary is when you look at the style of player he is, he has the potential to his ceiling is almost higher than everybody else's
oh,
because
I agree.
he has the like he's like LeBron type build, Giannis's height, but almost has game like JT.
Yeah. Yeah. He's different. That boy is nice. But
Yes,
I
and I love
think,
his confidence too.
yeah, especially come playoff time. I feel like in the regular season, he was kind of deferring to Franz a little bit, trying to get him going since coming back from the injury. But now that it's playoff time, he's like, give me the ball, right? And Franz is kind of feeding off of that, and he's still managing to play his role and do it at a very good level too. So
Yeah,
I
I
think,
don't remember who said it, but it was somebody on the pod that said that they believed Franz was better than Paulo. I ain't
and
gonna
that's
say,
crazy.
yeah,
That's kind of crazy. That's kind of wild.
yeah,
Um, but I think this is the sort of Magic team that we were expecting at the start of the year when we all saw them as a sleeper team in the East. And you've been saying it this entire time. If they had Jalen Suggs, man,
that's
man, man,
good.
man, man. I'm not saying that they would come out and, beat Boston, but I feel like they would give them a run for their money and take a few games. I definitely think that they would.
I agree
So
that they have a lot of potential, and I think they're going to be better next year.
I I think they are probably one piece away, and I don't know if that's a star or necessarily just health in general, but I think they're about a piece away from being, in the upper echelon of teams for
The
sure.
right piece, they could definitely be in the Eastern Conference Finals next year.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Um, Moving on to your game. Cavs beat the Heat 121 to 112. The Cavs are now up 2-0. Donovan had 30 points, but Tyler Hero led the game in scoring 33 points. How you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's the average run of the mill, right? One guy does everything, and none of the other guys kind of step up and help him, and that's where we were at. Obviously, Tyler with 33, but I don't think anybody else had above 20. And it's just not going to get it done, especially against the Cavs when they have so many pieces. Um, Obviously, they have Garland and they have Mobley, who played well on Sunday, um, or Sunday on what even is today? Wednesday, yesterday. Jeez, I pulled a U-tone. I had an old person moment. Jeez,
Crazy. I was just about to say sorry,
game
but they just sent
game
you in the
game
park.
one was on Sunday. Game two was on Wednesday, but. No, I mean, dude, they're just they are very well depthed. Ty Jerome, like I said, did not have the game that he had on in game one, but they had other pieces that stepped up and were able to help them get a win. Um, and coming fourth quarter, we had nobody to stop Donovan Mitchell. He was the only guy that was scoring in the fourth quarter, and we still couldn't beat it. So,
He's tough in the fourth
um,
quarter, man.
he is. So realistically speaking, outside of my bias, obviously with the bias, I said Heat and seven. But realistically speaking, I just don't think that we have enough to even take a game. I think they're going to come into Miami and they're going to do what they do. They're a number one seed for a reason. Um, but
Can I ask a question? Why
yeah,
are we not playing Jaime?
he, I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm with you. I think that Jaime should be getting minutes, especially over a guy like probably Duncan, who offensively, you know what you get from Duncan, but defensively, man, um,
So
it's just it's nasty to watch.
I appreciate that alley oop because just gonna be oop. I think
So,
that y'all don't need to focus on offense.
mm,
Y'all need to focus on defense. I'm looking at that score 121, 112. Y'all lost that game by 9 points. That's not a lot of points.
mm, mm,
Tyler didn't shoot as good as he can shoot. I still think Bam hasn't had the game of like the series, like he hasn't had a game yet. And so I'm just like, what's going on? Is it really the situation? And I hate to bring up bad news, but the Spoelstra situation, like, is
mm.
that what y'all are? And then that just to me that makes it even worse because this is a business and there are fans that want to see the team win. I understand like culture, whatever the hell you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like things happen. You know what I'm saying? Things happen. Love finds itself in dark alleys sometimes. Come on, man. Come on. I know you you the Heat fan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
come on, man. Get it together.
but when when it comes to the end of the day, I trust Spo. And if Spo has a reason for not playing him, I trust that there's a good reason for it. Um, from an outsider looking in, right? I don't know what's happening on the inside. Um, maybe the other guys have just been doing better at practice. Maybe
Ain't no
Jaime
way,
is
man.
just
How may
like,
gonna end up in New Orleans next year and average 18.
and I would love to see it. Because again, there's a few guys in our playoff rotation that I think that he should be getting minutes over, right? But I'm obviously not the coach. I would love to see him. Spo thinks different, and then he thinks that putting Jaime on the floor jeopardizes our chance to win, I guess. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm
I
like, to me, he seems like a bootleg Wiggins.
Especially coming off of last year where he had a great rookie year.
Like,
He had a great rookie year.
as soon as Wiggins hits the bench, I'm like, yo, Jaime, let's go, let's go.
I agree. I don't think that Jaime is on par defensively like Wiggins is, but um, I think he plays a similar role that Wiggins does. So I don't know, man. A tough
Yeah, we'll
watch.
see, man. We'll see. I guess we'll see this summer if we don't see by the end of the series.
It's the same
Unfortunately,
thing with like Khalil Ware. Like Khalil Ware is only
yeah.
getting like 20 minutes a game, while every other starter is pulling damn near 40. It's like, why are we not playing him when he's on the floor? He's impacting on both ends. He can step out and shoot the three ball too. Like he can shoot from the three ball. I don't know why we're not spacing the floor with him and running a pick and roll with Bam. Bam can also shoot the three ball. I don't know why we can't run a pick and roll and have Bam space the floor. Like I don't. There are certain times when I watch the Heat where it's like I feel like I know what I'm doing more than Spo, and I know that that's not the case. But like, come on.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that sometimes what we don't see are those small parts of the game to where the defense is actually taking away opportunities to where you're like, you're
Hmm.
passing the ball, but you didn't realize the defense cut that pass and laying off, yada,
Yep.
yada, yada. So that person, the shot clock's cutting down, they got to take a bad shot. Small
Yeah.
things like that we don't really see every play, but yeah, I will say that of the Heat games that I've watched, there's been some time, and just I think I spoke to it when I first started getting on the pod that I expected Bam to have a bit of a breakout year. We watched him in the USA games. He was hitting, that three. Even I seen him hit step back three once or twice in that Olympic games. I was like, okay, yeah, Bam's getting confident in that. I don't know what happened like you said, maybe there's something that's happening in practice to where Sproles doesn't feel as confident. He's like, yeah, nah, we can't rely on that. Um, yeah, send him to Boston, man. We will take care of him.
No. I also wonder if that because like Team USA, when you kind of think about it, I feel like that was more of like a pickup style. Obviously they weren't running like anything traditional in terms of offense or anything. So maybe that's why he felt more confident. But in obviously NBA playoffs, they kind of got a system and they're not comfortable with him doing that.
They didn't really do it all
Maybe
season. He didn't shoot a lot more threes than he did last year.
I agree, which sucks because he can make them.
That's what I thought. I was like, he's gonna change the dynamic of the Miami Heat now. There's going to be more space, especially with Ware. You would think that would help because you got a big who can, you know what I'm saying, work in there, and if they double, kick it out to Bam who could shoot. It's
Hmm.
just I don't know. Like you said, sometimes watching the game and I'm like, I can figure it out. Like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, and I think going into this year, we thought that he would unlock that part of his game, and who knows? Maybe he just needs another season to work on it. Like, who knows? I don't know.
Well, let's jump into these games from today, man. We had the Knicks beat up on the
Dude,
Pistons on the East Coast game. Brady didn't really beat up on them. They beat them by two, 118 to 116. They were up 2-1 in the series. Cat and Brunson, they combined for 61 points. I believe Brunson had 31 and Cat had 30. And Kate had 24. Kate had a pretty good night. I don't think he was as efficient as he should have been, and I think he should have been a little more aggressive earlier in the game. Um, Brunson, he's been playing amazing thus far. I hate to say it, but your boy was right. I'm sure he's
hey,
listening.
playoff Brunson. Me and Maul called it. He hasn't had a game yet where he scored under 30. Um, I think the difference maker was Cat though. Cat in that first quarter. I don't know if you were watching the game at all. He hit like three or four of them in a row to start the game, and um, the thing that with Cat, right, is the announcers were talking about it. Cat goes on these spurts where he gives you so much in quick succession, and then he just disappears from the game. It's like he's not even on the floor. Um, I feel like that had happened multiple times where Cat was hot early and then they tried to get other people going and he was just non-existent and nowhere to be found. I feel like they could have kept feeding him and this game would have never been close, right? Like he was on fire in that first quarter. Um, but come second half, obviously JB didn't have a good first half, but he's always been a second half player and he showed it, especially in the fourth quarter. At crunch time, he just won the Clutch Player of the Year award today. So, that's where he'll be, and he closed it out. But if I'm the Pistons, you have to get Cade going earlier in the game. He just took way too long to get going.
To me, that's just the easy solution. It's not like they have an abundance of scores. Why you not like
Yeah,
he
and
damn near needs to average 35.
the only reason that the Pistons were in this game to begin with was because Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dennis Schroeder got hot. But you can't rely on that every game, right? You have
Dennis,
to.
Dennis has been pretty consistent.
Dennis has Tim Hardaway. I can't rely on him to make what
Oh,
five in the first half.
he missed 5 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, like I can't rely on him to do that. Schroeder, you can a little bit. He's obviously the vet. He's been here before. He's done this, but you have to find a way to get Cade going earlier. And it's hard because New York has all of these perimeter defenders. Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges. Like they have guys that they could put on him that are not only, you know, size wise they match up with him, but they have incredible wingspans. They have, just the ability to contest and pickpocket and do all of the things that you want out of good defenders. So it's tough, but they have to find a way. Jalen Duren played amazing tonight,
Great game.
um, but it just wasn't enough. And if you're the Pistons, you need the next one at home because I don't know if you get another one in New York. So
One name I didn't hear you mention. His name was kind of talked about all year. I believe he was mentioned for Sixth Man of the Year.
there's nothing to talk about though. Like
Where has he been in this series?
he's gone cold. He's gone so cold. He can't get it going. And I don't know if that's just playoff defense that's bothering him or what's going on, but Broder has been the guy off the bench. And I think that he stepped into that role nicely, but if they want to win, I think that's the two things that they have to get going. One is Cade a lot earlier in the game, and two is Malik Beasley. He's got to find anything.
He
He
looks so
couldn't
completely out of rhythm. I
he
really,
couldn't throw the ball in the ocean.
for me, I think it's his defense. Like when he's locked in on defense, his offense just seems to just. But I, they, I credit someone who I don't like to give credit is Brunson's shifty, and he gets people uncomfortable. And yeah, watching like all of their and they do have some premier defenders over there in Detroit, but they just don't look like they're enjoying playing defense on, bro. Like Brunson is
Mm-mm.
he's having his way, man, especially in the fourth. And like even I give him credit because what is sometimes what you can watch what he does, it's almost like he's preparing for the fourth quarter. he's
Hmm.
he's getting the refs to pay attention to certain moves that he's making. He's like, oh, they're bumping me as the same way I'm bumping them. Okay, you're not gonna call it. All right, well, watching the fourth quarter. I'm gonna make you call it, which is
Yep.
dope. He's plays smart basketball, man. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they play in the next round.
Who would they play?
Yeah,
Uh, 3-6. They'd play the winner of you in
yeah.
Orlando.
That's when it's gonna get fun. That's when it's gonna get
Um,
fun.
yeah, Tobias has to get it going too. He was awful tonight.
Yeah. He was awful tonight. He had a great game the previous night, and sometimes that's how it goes. Like,
That's just how it goes. You get hot, you get cold.
well, that's what separates the good from the greats and the greats from the most elite is consistency, and that's it, man. Let's jump into the other game. We had the Thunder get another win. A comeback. They were down early. Man, I thought they were that game, but Ja did get hurt. But yeah, he came back and won that one, 114, 108. They're up 3-0 in that series. It's likely over. Ja looks pretty banged up after that fall. I'd imagine that they'll just sit him out. There's no, have him come back for one game because even if they won the next game, they're not going to win the series. So you just have Josh sit out, get rested, ready for next year. Feel like let some. Yeah, it'd be dope if Jalen. That's his name? Jalen, the backup guard. When I hurt his wrist.
Jalen Wells.
Yeah, Jalen. It'd be dope if he wasn't hurt because then this would like it'd be perfect time for him to get that playoff experience. But it's unfortunate that he's hurt. Scottie Pippen Jr. had a great first half. And yeah, they were looking like they were actually going to get that dub and would change the outlook of this series for a second because they were up 20 something points. They were dominating. Ja was doing, he wasn't really scoring, but he was just getting to the paint at will. And yeah, it was interesting to see until he got hurt, and that comeback just said exactly what OKC has been. And yeah, series over. My outlook. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, see. So the thing is that I wasn't even watching this game in the first half. I was actually watching the Nuggets and Clipper game to start because I thought that that was the game that was going to be close. And then, Kevin said in the group chat, "Oh, the Grizzlies are blowing the Thunder out." And I'm like, "Dang, both of these games really suck tonight." And then minutes later, Kevin's like, I think I jinxed it. They're making a comeback. And so I'm like, all right, let me go turn on this game. Man. Um, and again, this is where championship teams set themselves apart. You don't make comebacks like that if you're not in the running for being a top team in your conference. It just doesn't happen, especially when you're not at home, right? The Grizzlies had everything going for them. They had a 29-point lead. 29. And for the Thunder, this is the second largest playoff comeback in playoff history, with obviously the 2019 Clippers that Shea was also a part of, and they came back 31 on Golden State. So it's just it's incredible. Alex Caruso needs the props, though, the spotlight. I don't know if you was watching that fourth quarter. Man, he was everywhere on the
Everywhere.
floor.
Looking like
It's
old Caruso.
Yeah, he was. Shea finally had his game. He shot very efficient from the field, and I think the thing with him is he wasn't settling. Especially in games 1 and 2, he was settling for that three ball a little too much. And in this game, he kind of got to his spots where he knows he's comfortable. That mid-range game, that's always been Shea's game. And he didn't settle, and he got to those spots, and he played well. But I think the two that we really need to compliment here is obviously Alex Caruso, but Chet Holmgren as well. he caught fire in the second half, and he had 5 of them in the second half, and that's really what brought him back. Um, and it just speaks to their depth as a team. They the bench didn't play well at all outside of Caruso, really. Um, but they found a way to get it done. Shea and J Dub were consistent as always. Chet stepped up, Caruso stepped up, and they found a way to come back. So, yeah, I don't think they take it back to OKC. I think they end it next game and they'll get a nice little break before inevitably facing one of these two teams that we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Yeah, I do. I do think it's their depth is probably yeah. It's I guess with the Celtics and Cavs, um, that you never know who's going to come off the bench and score 15 points. You just don't. It can be any one of those guys. And sometimes it's all of them, and they score
Yeah.
149 points or something.
Yep.
But yeah, OKC is fun to watch, and then yeah, it was. I think it was sad for Ja to go down, but it was dope to see them come back because it shows their maturity again. That they actually are a top tier team. Because I think a lot of people were concerned that if they were going to keep up the same consistency in the playoffs that they had during the regular season. And tonight, even though it was up against a somewhat beat up team because they were missing their star for that most of the second half, they did what they had to do, man. That's what you're supposed to do in the playoffs is finish the game. And yeah, let's get into this to me, which was it's a statement. It was a statement game. This is what I read. The Clippers rout Jokic and the rest of the Nuggets, 117-83. Jokic has a 23-point triple double, 23, 13, and 13. Kawhi with a team high 21 points, which is actually I think that's dope for the Clippers. Dope as hell. A team high 21 points and to beat the Denver Nuggets is kind of trippy. Russell Westbrook did not play much of the game, but yeah, how you feel?
Yeah, this was a game that I was watching from the start because, like I said, I thought it was going to be the better game. I thought OKC was going to blow out Memphis again. Um, and in the first quarter, it looked good. Aaron Gordon came out and scored 11 quick ones. And he shot like 4 for 4 from the 3-point line to start, and then cooled off and went 2 for 12 the rest of the game. And that's when the Clippers pulled away and they were up 20 at halftime. And by then the game was over. Um, and I think this speaks volumes on the first 2 games, right? First 2 games were super close. It was in Denver with a point differential of 5. And we always say home teams play better at home. They always play better at home. You got the crowd and momentum is a little bit different when you're at home. And I think this speaks volumes that the Nuggets probably aren't the better team. Because if it was a lot closer than we thought it was, this would have been a close game, just like it was in Denver. But they had no momentum. They found no way to get it going, and eventually it steamrolled. Um, and I have a hard time trusting the other guys of Denver. Obviously, Jokic is going to do what he does, but Jamal Murray, can we count on him to show up? Aaron Gordon, can we count on him to not go cold? MPJ, I'm going to give a little leniency to because he hurt that shoulder in game 2. He had it wrapped today, but even then, he was on the court. If you're on the court, there's no excuse. Can he show up and hit shots? That's what they paid him for. Um, so I don't know if it's enough to compete with the depth that the Clippers have. Like you mentioned, team high 21 and they beat them by like 34. It's just it's a scary sight. Chris Dunn was good in the first quarter.
Helped Jimmy
Shooting the
Butler.
ball. Harden, Zubac, Norman Powell got hot in the third quarter. I mean, they just have so many pieces. Nicholas Batum came off the bench and had 12 and shot 4 for 6 from three. And when's the last time we brought up Nicholas Batum? Right.
After like
Um,
5 years.
they just have so many pieces.
Is Zubac really the Jokic stopper?
No, no. And I know that Jokic had a triple double of you mentioned 23, 13, and 13, but he it didn't impact anything. They were down 20 in the first half. Like that triple double essentially did nothing for them in any way, shape, or form. Not that that's on him, but what does it say?
They say
I
that
don't know.
Zubac has played Jokic the best all season.
And he has, especially in game one and two. Zubac was amazing games one and two. And then tonight, obviously, they didn't need that kind of performance because it was just an overall team blowout. So, yeah, if
But
the
they're
Clippers
they're
get the next
familiar with
one,
one another from playing, international basketball.
hmm
So I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued to see how the NBA does going forward because I mean it's obvious that international basketball is catching up. You've got four of the top five players that are foreign, and then
we're
looking at this situation, you've got it's been what 3 or 4 years that we've been trying to figure out who's going to slow Jokic down. I mean, Embiid and Jokic have been going at it, but even Embiid's not from here.
hmm
So like it's like the even the best centers in the league are all from somewhere else.
hmm
Two two of the best guards in the league are from somewhere else.
hmm
And nothing like that's not like I'm not trying to like say it's something wrong with it, but as American basketball players, I'm sure that they're like, hey, hold on, we ain't winning this race anymore.
Yep.
And so, oh yeah, I think it's interesting to see where we go with it. Um,
They feeding them something different over there. I don't know
yeah,
what they're feeding them,
real food,
but
real food,
apparently.
real food. But no, yeah, it was great. To me, it's been a great playoff already. That without the injuries we could do without. But besides that, it's been dope so far, man. Who would you say so far as the MVP of the playoffs? I know we're only two, some teams 3 games in. The MVP of the playoffs so far.
Mm. See, this is a great question actually, because for me, if I'm picking an MVP for the playoffs, it has to be someone who's impacting them to win games. Because ultimately, that's what the playoffs is about. If you're not impacting winning in the playoffs, then what are you doing? Thinking regular season is a little different. Um, there's a few guys that I think I would hand this to. Um, Brunson, obviously, he's been phenomenal to start. Donovan Mitchell, first 2 games, he's been phenomenal. He's had back-to-back 30 balls. Um, but I think I want to actually give it to J-Dub. I don't know if anybody has watched the Thunder games, but J-Dub has been the consistent piece on both ends of the court, offense and defense. So, yeah, I think it's J-Dub. Kawhi is also in that conversation, though, for sure.
That's actually where I was thinking. But I will say that OKC is up 3-0 when They're up 2-1. So, but I was gonna go Kawhi, but Brunson is a great one too. It's just Kawhi plays probably be a little bit better on both ends of the court. I shouldn't say both ends, but obviously on the defensive end.
Yep.
But yeah, no, great names, great names. And so on to another hot topic of the day. We had an NFL draft today.
Yeah, we did.
How you feel about that?
I think it kind of went how I expected for the most part. I expected Cam Ward to go first. Um, they needed a quarterback. um, really bad. I think the surprise of the draft is the Jaguars trading for number two. I thought they were fine where they were, but they obviously saw Hunter as a dual threat and worth enough to go out and give up some pieces to go get him. Um, I think the thing that everyone is still wondering though is he going to play both sides of the ball? Um, and offensively, I don't think that you could overlook BTJ and Travis Hunter on the same field. Him and BTJ are going to make Trevor Lawrence's job extremely easy. Um, and I think really marks the testing point of Trevor Lawrence. I think they picked Travis Hunter to see, is T Law the guy? Can he be the guy? And I think this is the determining year for T Law. I think if he doesn't get it done and win them some games, they might start to question if he's really the franchise guy. So that's interesting. The Raiders going out and getting Ashton Genty,
Okay.
interesting piece. Don't know how it really works. I mean, they went out and got Geno Smith, so you know they didn't really need a whole lot. But um, again, everyone is always talking about the competition level for Genty, so we'll see how it translates. Um, and then I got to talk about it because I'm a Niner fan. Another edge player, An- another edge player that dude, this is like the fourth draft in a row where in our first round we have taken an edge. And
Doesn't pan out.
I'm not gonna say it doesn't pan out, but it's like at some point, how many edges are we gonna draft and let go before we realize that that's not our problem? I don't think the defensive line has ever been the problem, and the linebackers have never been the problem. It's always been the secondary and the offense. It's always been the problem. And every year we go out and we don't draft secondary and we don't draft offense in the first round. Granted, our safeties are both on rookie deals and they played really well, which is why we let Hufunga go. So the safety part of the secondary, I'm not worried about, but obviously Charvarius Ward is gone. He's in Indianapolis now. I thought that they would reach out and draft a corner to get something, right? But I guess they trust Lenore to be that cornerback one for him, and he played well last year. But obviously he was the two guy. So can he do it as the one? And he's had issues in the past, so we'll see. But I thought we needed a wide receiver or an offensive lineman, and we didn't go out and get one. So um, obviously, there's questions around Brandon Ayuk. How is he going to come back from the ACL? Is he even going to get traded? Um, can Ricky Pearsall be the number one receiver with Jawan Jennings? Like there was just too many questions for me on offense and in the cornerback room for us to go out and draft an edge. So I don't hate the pick. I just, man, it kind of sucks. But John Lynch has always been a good drafter, so we'll see.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I didn't watch the entire draft. I did check to see who we picked early. I see we got an old lineman. And by
which was
we,
needed.
are we? I mean, my Pats. Yeah, we definitely needed that. Um, hopefully that can help Drake get a little more time so he can get the ball to my new receiver. I see those guys are actually already working out. They've been working out all week. I'm like, that's dope, dope as hell.
Him and
Um,
Diggs.
yeah, they're in some like it's an optional workout, and they both scheduled to actually go through with it. So that's pretty dope. Um, I didn't see where Shador ended up. Where did he end up?
That's a good question. I didn't see where he ended up either. Because I'm sure just like you, we were watching playoff basketball. I wasn't turning the draft on. I was
Yeah,
kind of keeping mental notes of picks as they were going off on Twitter. Um, but I didn't see really any of that. So I guess we could look it up real quick. I wonder if he even got taken today.
that's what I was
Because
wondering. I'm like, maybe he didn't get drafted.
there was a lot of talk of him not getting drafted on the first round. There was a lot of talk.
I mean, shouldn't be shameful of that, man. Maybe that put a little fuel in the fire. Sometimes that's motivation to show out. And there's been second rounders that have actually ended up being star.
And that's true. There's been, last picks that have been stars. Obviously, we look at Tom Brady. We look at Brock Purdy right now. So, I mean, I don't think it matters where you get drafted. Um, but obviously, you would have liked to be drafted in that higher tier of picks because then you get a bigger contract.
Yeah, he don't need that. He don't
So,
need that. He already got on a $3 million chain.
did he get picked today?
Fit matters more for him so that he can have the right pieces around him. He can grow, have the right leaders around him. I definitely think that whatever team gets him, they're gonna sell a couple jerseys. I'll tell you that.
So, looking at it, Shador did not get drafted in the first round tonight.
Interesting. Interesting.
Which is kind of crazy because there was at least one other QB that was taken. Jackson Dart was taken by the Giants at 25.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, it begs the question of, is it the media presence? Is it Dion? Like, what's really going on with Shador? But I don't expect him to fall too much farther. If he falls past the late second to early third round, I would be shocked. I really would. So, yeah,
You want to make your Super Bowl predictions?
way too early Super Bowl
Okay.
predictions.
I just
Um,
wanted to give you a
yeah,
chance.
is thinking about it. Man, it really might just be the Eagles.
Repeat offenders, huh?
Yeah,
Maul's not gonna like that.
I don't like it either, but um, my gut wants to say Detroit, but we all know how Jared Goff does. We all know it. The rest of the team could be phenomenal, but if Jared Goff has a bad game, they're kind of done. So, um, obviously, I think the Chiefs are going to be there because they're the Chiefs and we all hate them. But man, I would love to see the Bills come out of the AFC.
Mm,
I would love to see it.
I would not.
I would love to see Josh Allen finally get something done.
He's a problem. He is a problem. He is a problem. Yeah, that's what we got. What we got to hold on. One more line of questioning I got for you. We got a couple days off before we drop another pod. Pretty much got oh no, we got a nice game tomorrow. First early game is Celtics Magic. You got winning that one.
At home. And it depends. Is JT playing?
He got on the plane with no wrist wrap.
If
Carrying
JT
the suitcase in that hand.
if JT is playing, I'm gonna take Boston. But if he's not playing, I like Orlando at home. Like I said, teams play different at home, and I think momentum is a big part of that. That crowd pops. You know, I think that they've kept it close in these first two games, close enough. Obviously, that first game was kind of a fluke towards the end of the fourth quarter. They had kept it interesting at least. And then in game two, they kept it interesting without JT, obviously, but they were always close. 9 points, like we mentioned, it's not a whole lot. So if JT doesn't play, I like Orlando, but if he does, I can't overlook Boston.
Yeah, I got us getting the dub. I will say that I had Magic and Magic. I had Magic getting a game in the series. I think this is the game that they have to win if they're going to get a dub. But after watching the first two games, and like you said, if JT comes back, I just don't see how we lose. So yeah,
Yeah. If
I
they were
got
ever going to get a game, it was going to be one of these two at home. So,
yeah. Honestly, I'm looking. I'm starting to lean more on the sweeper.
yeah. And that was my prediction from the start. I thought they were going to get him out in four. So I would love to see it if Orlando got a game. But again,
Yeah,
if JT plays, I just don't see it happening.
it was kind of interesting to me when we did that. I was like, I'm the only one that trusts Orlando to get a dub.
Yeah. Which is crazy because you're the Boston fan.
But that's been my sleep. Orlando's been my sleeper team for like 3 years now. Like I want to say
Yeah.
since Paulo got drafted. Like I've seen so I'm like, yo, that dude's got game. And last year I thought he was gonna take the leap that he took this year. So um and I just think that entire team is almost they're doing it organically. Like that team is grown organically, and I feel like you said, they're a piece away, man. I don't know what that piece is. Maybe they can score something in the draft, a sleeper piece, a stretch big, an athletic wing to add defensively, a point guard who can put the ball in the bucket whenever he feels like. Like I don't know what that piece will be, but I think they're a piece away from tearing the East up.
Yeah.
Second game of the tomorrow is Pacers Bucks. The Pacers are actually up 2-0 in that series. I think we all picked. I'm gonna have to check that sheet.
Picked Milwaukee.
We all did, right?
I don't know if we all did. I'm sure someone took
I'm like, I
Indiana,
think I
right?
might have picked the Pacers.
I'm sure someone had to have taken Indiana. I don't know. Jamal's got it all written down somewhere.
Yeah. But interesting how the series has started. How you feel about Game 3?
Yeah, I don't expect Giannis to go down 3-0. I don't see it, especially at home.
Yeah, they're going to Milwaukee.
Because the thing is, right, if Giannis loses game 3, I think they get swept. And I don't see Giannis getting swept. So I think he takes this one.
50?
If he has to. I don't know about 50. I think he could get a cool, 35, 10, and 10.
I feel like you can't rely on Kuz because it's not like Kuz has played better, way better in Milwaukee than he's played everywhere else. I think Dame can likely have a 20-something point night. What are you gonna rely on Lopez? Which is it's possible Lopez could have a 18, 20 point night.
You need Bobby Portis to do what he did again in game 2.
Me beat Portis. That's the name I was going for. But besides that, I honestly feel like Giannis has to have 40 points for them to win.
I also think that now that Dame has had a few games to get his legs back under him and shoot, I think he'll shoot better from the field because he only shot, what, 4 for 13 in his game back. Not great. So,
Hallie running his ass around though.
yeah, he is. So, they also need to fix whatever defense that they got going on. I don't know if you were watching that game, but every time they put Dame in a pick and roll, they would have the weak side defender come over and swap with Dame, and he would run to the corner instead, and it would lead to a 3-point bucket every time. So Doc Rivers needs to decide what the hell he wants to do on defense because that is not working. But I don't think Giannis gets swept. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think he knows the type of skirt mark that puts on his resume.
Yeah, a really big one too, because that would be what
He
a
has all
lot of
these
times
series.
losing in just the first round
Yeah,
when they
and
were
just won
favored.
series in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean that'd be tough. They lost to Miami and then they lost to Indiana last year, and if
And
they lose to Indiana
we're already
again
talking
this
about his
year,
championship was flukish.
yeah, there's gonna be some talks. If they get swept, I think he seriously considers leaving Milwaukee. I think you have to if you're Giannis. Milwaukee is not
Where does he go? Does he come here?
where? Phoenix? Hell no. Hey, he's already said that he wants all of the, European players to play in a big market. I don't expect him going anywhere but a big market.
New York,
New York,
Houston.
Miami, Golden State, Houston, any of those teams. I don't see him going to another small market team unless it's
OKC.
like. And I was just about to say, unless it's OKC and they just give up a bunch of draft capital for him, but I don't see it. I don't see it.
Giannis, SGA, J-Dub, and Chet, and anything else. Don't even matter.
Yeah.
You
I
put
mean,
you
they
put
have the picks to spare. I don't even think they'd have to include a player.
you put the coaching staff out there. And those
So,
four alone, they can pay 4 and 5 with
uh,
that.
let's not put that into the world, though. Let's not even put that into the
Cancel
world.
the season, man. Cancel
Yeah,
the season.
that would be disgusting. But yeah, I honestly think that he considers leaving if they don't get a win. So
That'd be ugly. That'd be ugly. And the game, I feel is the game of the night. I will say though, I guess they'll be fighting for game of the night. Because if Giannis goes off, I'm sure that has potential to be interesting. Lakers, Wolves. Uh, Series is tied 1-1. I believe Lakers won game one and the Wolves won, or they have it reversed.
a bit, yeah. Wolves
Yeah,
won game 1.
Wolves won game one, Lakers won game two. Um, yeah, what do you think's gonna win that one?
I've been saying it. I like the Wolves.
Okay.
Hey, we were talking Tuesday. The Lakers didn't really play that great. Like they played well enough to win, but in terms of, playing great, like they let the Wolves come back in that game and it was at home. So imagine now in Minnesota, I don't know. It's tough. Obviously Luca is going to do what he does, but and this is I think the first time that we've said this ever, But what's LeBron gonna do? I think that's the first time I've ever said that in my entirety of watching LeBron. He's got to step up and be the second guy if they're going to want to split in Minnesota. Because if they don't split and they take it back to LA down 3-1, it looks real risky. It looks real risky. So they have to find a way to win one of these next two games in Minnesota. But yeah, I think it'll be too much.
Yeah, and I will say to me, like looking at the roster, I don't know why the Lakers are struggling. Because I'm sorry, but I don't like Rudy Gobert's game.
I don't either. I've been
He
saying that for years.
he can't guard on the perimeter, and then as a defender, if he gets anywhere outside of the paint, I'm not guarding him. And so basically, I just have to have someone who's quick enough to get back underneath him for the lob threat. And I feel like they have enough players on LA, especially with Jackson Hayes, but he had one. He did get hurt.
He was in foul trouble the
Yeah,
entire game.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's what it was.
that's why he wasn't necessarily playing. I don't expect fouls to go like they did in game two. They were on the whistle all night long. But yeah, I've been saying the same thing. And it's partially the reason why I didn't pick Zach Edey to win Rookie of the Year when we started the year. Is because to me, he's like another Gobert, but he's just not good
He can
defensively.
actually shoot, and I think 2 years from now we'll be talking about him a lot differently.
I agree, but it's sort of the same situation now where he can't be on the floor fourth quarter down the stretch because he's just a liability, not just offensively,
He
but
can't guard the perimeter.
defensively.
Yeah.
He can't. They're gonna put him in a pick and roll every single time, and they are going to force a switch. So when it comes to that, it's just tough.
To
But
me, I don't know why. If I'm teams, right? I'm going 3-2 zone, and I'm putting my big on the side of the shooters. That's what I'm doing.
I don't know, man. And that's why teams like Cleveland and OKC and Boston are so good because Jared Allen can go out there, Kristaps Porzingis can go out there, Chet Holmgren can go out there. I don't trust Rudy to do that.
Oh yeah, no,
I
no,
don't.
no.
And
And then
which
he
is
has the
saying
space to go
something
on offense.
because he's a four-time DPOY winner, and you can't trust him to be on the floor to play defense in the final 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, that's why the NBA they mess that award up every year.
And that's why I think when Jamal says Klay Thompson is the most overrated basketball player of all time, I look at him and I look at Rudy Gobert and I say, what do you see in Rudy Gobert that doesn't make him more overrated than Klay Thompson?
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. I would have to agree.
And I hope Jamal is watching and he pops in here and he goes on a rant about Klay Thompson. I really hope that he does.
I will say personally, I think that Anthony Edwards has to play a little bit better.
He
I
does.
definitely think Julius Randle needs to play better. And anyone else needs to play a little bit better, like DiVincenzo, Walker, anybody.
Yeah.
Picks, yeah.
A lot of them were in foul trouble. DiVincenzo had 4 in the second quarter. Nas Reed had 3 in the second quarter. I mean, man,
Yeah,
like I said, they were on the whistle for
that's what Luka
playoff
does.
basketball. Man,
Luka engages and creates that contact, makes the refs call. But yeah, I think that'll be the game of the night. One of those stars is gonna have a game tomorrow. I believe it. Luka will go for 35, 40, AE. One of those guys is gonna have a game.
who you picking?
I got the Wolves. I'm actually
Wolves.
almost. I think tomorrow tells the tale, and they say I think it's like over 70%, high 80s, low 80s, or something like that. Winner of game 3 usually wins the series, and yeah, I'm leaning towards the Wolves. I watching again, and I hate to. I just sound like a Luca hater. Watching him on defense, like it's embarrassing to watch as like a fan of the game. He's such a phenomenal offensive. Just, I mean, it's. I don't know how many players I've ever seen do what he does on offense. Like he's got like footwork that reminds me of a Kobe meets Paul Pierce type of. You know what I'm saying? He's slow, methodic, patient, um, dominant. Like it's just it's a beautiful thing to watch. And then you get on defense, and sometimes he just stands there. Like he literally just stands there. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like regardless of how he feels, he's the leader of that team. Everyone else watches, and especially if you shoot the ball more than 20 times, everyone else on the team, you're absorbing their energy when they see you stand there. Your teammate, the one who dives on the floor, the one who does the extra things, when they see the person who's shooting the ball 20, 25 times stand there, they're like, all right, watch this. I'm going to be tired too. And he can't do that. Like, I feel like that was the big part of the reason why he was traded out of Dallas. And I have friends who are big time Lakers fans, and they've said to me, I don't think Luka plays championship basketball. And it's not because he of course he can score the basketball damn near at will. It's he doesn't lead on defense.
Yeah. How it is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and yeah, but I do get the Wolves winning, and yeah, again, I feel like that'll be a on Luca's resume. Losing in the first round to me is different than to me personally. It's way worse than losing in the finals. I don't understand the conversation when people. I mean, I understand the GOAT thing between Mike and Braun, but I'm like, Mike lost in the first round. Braun did, but he was a little bit older. Like when you're young and you're the man, you should be losing in the first round.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah. I agree.
But
Yeah. I'll never understand people knocking people for losing in the finals.
yeah. What can we do, man? Opinions are like
Opinions are opinions. Yep. Everybody's got them.
take it and flush it, man. But you got any other and any balls you want to drop, bombs you want to drop before we exit stage left? I see Maul's watching. I can see he's probably watching us, but he didn't want to jump. He ain't got nothing to gossip about today. You ain't see no new
Yeah.
Suns news, I
Hey,
guess.
you,
Pop up on the
you
feed.
see what he comment though? He said who beat LeBron for the first time in the first round. Get out of here. Get that guy out of here. Man,
That's the
watching.
comment. The
He
one
can comment
comment.
on the show, but he can't come in here and speak a few words, God forbid. Um,
Watcher.
no, I don't think so. There was some Shannon Sharp news that came out today, but um we already touched on that for the most part. We'll wait for a little more to come out before we re-engage on that topic. But
He's backed away from ESPN. He said that he'll likely rejoin when the NFL preseason begins,
yep.
um, which to me speaks to his confidence about the situation. I mean, you would assume his legal team says that he has to say that anyways, but it just speaks to the confidence. I think that it's probably in the best business nature to back away because people would likely spam ESPN social media with all type of
Yeah.
foolery until he did back away. So yeah, I mean, I did see that. I think he and Ocho Cinco did something live tonight. So again, I just think that speaks to his confidence that he will win this legal battle. I do think it's messy and unfortunate, but yeah, we spoke to it a little earlier. We'll wait to see the rest before we continue to speak out. But yeah, we
Gumo,
appreciate. Oh, you got something else?
Gumo said, "Hold up, I got you." I wonder if he's gonna get in here or not.
Oh man, hold on. I hear a song. Sometimes I feel like somebody's
Somebody's
watching
watching
me.
me. Gumo, what's poppin'?
It'd be
Oh,
nice if you unmuted
yeah,
yourself so
unmuted
that you could
yourself. That'd be
actually
nice. That'd be cool.
participate.
That's awkward. Hey, hey, listen, bro. I was in the bed laying down, and I heard somebody mention LeBron losing in the first round, and then I was like, oh, I remember the
Now I'm
first time he
awake.
lost in the first
Yeah.
round.
It's like a shot of Red Bull.
Yeah, he was sitting right here. He was about to fall asleep, and then he heard
Undertaker
LeBron
style.
losing, and he's like, "Oh, my sons."
So his son, no, his father. I heard dad's name. Oh, they're talking about dad,
Hey,
Devin Booker.
hey, just saying, bro. Just saying. You see what he did today? Great guy. Just want to put that out there. He's a great guy.
Oh, he robbed them kids for their lemonade.
Raw. See, there you go. See, there
You
you
didn't
go.
see he had on a whole
This
the
ain't Boston. This
the
ain't
Pooh
Boston.
Shiesty mask.
This ain't Boston.
I seen him. I barely
Yeah.
knew it was him. He had the Pooh Shiesty mask on. He was tatted up. I seen what it said, like a couple letters, a couple numbers. I'm like, dang, that's how people are acting.
Typical. Just saying it.
But hey, Maul, since we got you in here and you repping the Knicks for this playoff run, you want to talk about the game tonight? What's your thoughts?
So I'm not gonna lie. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't get to watch all of it. I'm probably gonna this weekend. I'm gonna go run through all the games.
I got you a
And
little breakdown. The Knicks beat the Pistons 118, 116.
I did see
Cat and
that.
Brunson combined for 61 points. Brunson with 31, Cat with 30, Kate with 24 for his team high. And your Knicks, lead the
Up
series
2-1.
2-1.
Listen, I picked them to win in 5 when we did our show. When we picked them all, I picked them to win in 5. I still think that's gonna happen. Um, the Pistons are young and they are inexperienced for the most part. And so now that there's some adversity, now I understand that there was adversity when they were down 1-0. 2-1 is a little bit different from being down 1-0. And so now they're facing some real adversity. And so now that experience or lack of is really going to come into play. And so when you talk about a team like that, now, yeah, they are gritty. They are, they grind. They're tough. There's only so much toughness you can bring to when maybe the other team is a little bit more talented. Um, and we'll be back on this week. I'll for sure be back on with y'all this weekend to have a full show again. But it'll be interesting to see what happens after Sunday. I believe whenever they play, Saturday or Sunday. But it'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, your
Hey,
boy is
man.
playing amazing, man. Got to give it to him.
JB.
He's
Playoff
a fourth quarter
JB.
killer. Definitely a fourth quarter killer. He did poke my guy Tim Hardaway Jr. in the eye.
Yeah,
Middle,
yeah, he did.
middle finger, Freddie.
He
Wolverine.
came
Hey,
he came here and then he
that's all
just
right.
like that.
You want tough and gritty? There you go.
Wow.
All
Just
right.
saying.
All
Just
right, here
saying.
we go.
If that was Anthony Edwards or John Morant, he would have wanted him arrested.
Oh, immediately. I would. I know people, Tone. You know that. I had to made a few calls.
Crazy.
I'm just
Hey,
saying.
speaking of one last game for tomorrow, who you got? Timberwolves Lakers in game 3 in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. In Minnesota, it's interesting. The series is really like it's been close, but not close. Like the games have not been very close. Like the team who won ran away with it, and it hasn't really been. And they kind of led and kept control the entire game. Um, and so Minnesota did what they're supposed to do. They went to LA and they gave up and they got a game. So they got back home court advantage. Um, man. I'm gonna take Minnesota. I'm gonna say Minnesota. Now I forgot who I know I picked the Lakers. I forget in how many games.
I think you
Um,
said 6.
was it 6?
I think
I
so.
think we both said 6.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm with you. I just that situation. I think. Yeah, I'm standing on that. I think Minnesota's gonna go in tomorrow, handle business, and then the Lakers gonna flip the switch. Then they're gonna win 3 straight. Um, Again, I could be very wrong. But I think Minnesota's gonna go in. They're gonna have the home crowd behind them. It's gonna be raucous in there, um, and they're gonna handle business.
So real quick, I hate to think too far in the future, but if they win tomorrow, I believe it's the high 70s, 80%. The team that wins the third game in a series likely to win the entire series.
Yeah,
They have home court advantage. They win tomorrow. You think they're gonna lose game 4?
yeah, I do.
Oh, interesting.
I
Okay.
do. It's something. Now this is another experience part. Now in terms of what Minnesota did last year, obviously they went to the Western Conference Finals, and so they experienced everything you could experience in a playoff run. They experienced adversity. They were down 3-2 to the Nuggets in the MVP, and they were down. And they faced a lot of adversity. And I just think when you're facing two guys like LeBron James and Luka Doncic, there's just another gear that they haven't kicked in yet. There's another gear that they haven't kicked in because they haven't had to.
I don't think LeBron has it anymore.
Like, yeah, I talked about it earlier. I don't know if you were watching. LeBron has to step up if they're going to want to win.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And so he's
And
gonna have to step up.
the thing is that does LeBron still have that at the age of 40? We don't know. You haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
He not gonna bully Julius Randle around. I'll tell you that.
No.
That's really what it is. Is what he has. It's not for this series.
No. There's I don't know if there's anybody on that team, in that Minnesota team, you can really like pick aside from maybe Mike Conley, but there's nobody on that team where like, and I promise this isn't a shot to y'all boys, D'Lo, but when like the Cavs, right? DG was saying, what was the game plan? He said to pick on Tyler Hero and the weaker defenders. The problem with Minnesota is there are no weak defenders. There are
Yeah.
not. I said aside from me. Now I saw you guys talking about Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, thank you.
I saw you guys talking about Rudy Gobert. You put him in the pick and roll, it's trouble. It's trouble. But how many guys are going to actually put him now? AR can do it.
I was gonna
Luka.
say they have 3 guys who can do it. It's just that AR hasn't been consistent, and y'all they want to drag me through the mud and call me a hater. I'm sorry, but when Luka doesn't play grade to me, start B defense, not even B defense, playing mid C defense, and then you shooting below 50% on 22 plus shots. It's just, and he's got the basketball in his hands so much. I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like they all 3 of their top 3 players are shooting like below 50% and shooting a lot of shots. So I'm like, all right, one of you guys is gonna have to go for 30, 40, 50 maybe.
That's what's going to have to happen. The Lakers don't have enough scoring on that team. They have Luka, and you guys mentioned LeBron. They have LeBron, but LeBron's 40 years old, and but AR's been inconsistent. Tone, like you mentioned, that's going to be the biggest thing. Who's going to step up for them consistently? You had guys step up through the regular season in some games. You had Gabe Vincent go on a run. You had DFS go, shoot the ball pretty well from 3. These guys are going to have to be consistently good in order for them to beat this Timberwolves team because they're a very good team and they're a very good defensive team. The problem with Minnesota is putting the ball in the basket. They have one guy that consistently puts the ball in the basket. But everybody on that team plays defense. So the Lakers are gonna have to do something offensively. They're gonna have to. This weekend again, I haven't watched as much playoff basketball as I'd like to. I'm running around crazy like with like a chicken with its head cut off. This weekend, I'm really gonna sit down. I'm really gonna watch and analyze these games and to really see like, okay, so and so is stepping up. So if so and so plays well, they win. If so and so doesn't play well, they don't win.
I'm gonna say you might have to go back and watch some of the game twos, game threes, because this weekend there's some. So you know how game four is. Certain teams, if they're down, 3-3, maybe some of them might be even game five by then. You down 3-1. So yeah,
it's a wrap.
1-2-3 Cancun. So that game four, game five, yeah. Sometimes it doesn't mean as much, but. Yeah, I do think we will at least have a handful of great games this weekend.
Yeah. Real quick, phone's on 3%, but real quick, have you guys talked any about the NFL draft?
We did.
We touched on it.
Okay. First of all, I just want to throw it out there. I don't have the audio. I'll have it by this weekend. I called that the Cardinals were going to pick Walter Nolan today. I did. I just wanted to put that out there.
Hold on, let me see if I got some more cookies.
Yeah, I was gonna say we talked about.
There you go. I'm not eating carbs, and so you want to throw cookies at me. That's what you want to do, Tom?
Yo, I'm like, how like Shaq was like talking to, I don't say down, but he was like trying to motivate Dwight Howard in a way to where it was almost like aggressive. I don't know how to, whatever. That's how I'm trying to show love. It's like I throw that out there, so you're like, nah, them cookies. I don't need them cookies.
Yeah, well, now a cookie does sound amazing, though. I will not lie. I haven't had a cookie in months.
We touched on Cam Ward to the Titans with the first pick.
Okay.
We talked about the Jags and trading up for Travis Hunter and how him and BTJ will fit.
Don't say we. I was all low.
I said that. I said that this was going to be a T-Law year to see if he doesn't perform. This will be the year that he either is opted in or opted out of the Jaguars franchise. We touched on Ashton Genty to the Raiders. We touched on my team drafting another fucking edge. Another fucking edge. Another.
Well, okay. Here's the thing.
I don't give a damn.
Michael Williams, he needs he just needs an opportunity. And he's gonna get that opportunity with San Francisco. And the problem is that's the last guy I wanted to go to San Francisco. Why couldn't you guys draft Matthew Golden or T Mac or I don't know, one of these other Marion Hampton, like one of these skill guys?
Listen, right? I understand, but it's another edge guy.
Yeah,
we needed
just another guy to get up the
corner back or an offensive lineman or maybe even a receiver, but we did not need an edge. We didn't need it.
I'll say I don't mind the 49ers and what they did. If I'm a 49ers fan, I don't mind it, but to touch on I got to touch on my cards. Got to touch on the cards. They went out and got Walter Nolan, a big defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman, to wreak more havoc. I absolutely love the pick. Monty Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon have done absolutely amazing with like the last few years. And they've drafted the same type of guys. They've drafted gritty, tough, just nasty guys that'll put you in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? And Walter Nolan is another one of those guys. I think he's gonna be very productive for us. I mean, maybe not this year because the biggest thing to me, and my guy Ron Wolf said it today. The defensive line room was the weakest room in the Cardinals organization last season. it has now become the strongest room
Mhm.
in the organization. You go out, you get Josh Sweat, you get Dalvin Tomlinson, you're getting Darius Robinson back healthy for a full year. You get Calais Campbell. And now in your first round, in pick 16, you bring in Walter Nolan. This defensive line has absolutely been flipped on a 180. And
Yeah, I
I'm
was gonna
very happy.
say having him behind Calais Campbell and Josh Sweat to kind of learn from
Yep.
is nasty. It's
It's
nasty.
it's gonna be amazing. And then you of course you have the second and third rounds in which we're gonna talk about on Sunday. Um, when we or whenever the next time we go live is. I'm thinking Sunday for sure. Um, but and if you got again
Yeah.
or even Saturday, we can go Saturday and Sunday if you guys want to. But
We were talking about it. We didn't see Shador in the first round.
no, and I'm honestly I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. The part I'm kind of surprised at is I'm surprised the Steelers didn't take him. I'm surprised the Steelers didn't take him. But I'm in terms of that, like I'm not surprised. There are questions about, um, you know, his physical, like his arm talent. There's questions about his arm talent, his arm strength. Um, and I think the obvious one is he's never played under anybody else but his dad. He has always his dad has always coached him. He's always coached him, and so I think one of the bigger questions was, will he be able to play for a coach that's not his father? And so there are still some guys out there that are very interesting, very interesting. There Ariante Ursary is another offensive tackle. Obviously, you have Shador Sanders. Will Johnson is somebody who I never thought would make it out of the first round. But he fell. And apparently, he's got some knee stuff going on. So, um, I got to talk. I got to talk my dog too. I got to talk about Patty and those Chiefs, man. They went out and got a tackle. Who did they get? Why am I blank?
We're in the show off there, guys. Thanks for
Hey,
coming in.
they got somebody to protect my dog, man. They got somebody to protect my dog. But yeah, hey, listen. Yeah, but yeah, I'm getting ready to go to sleep here. But hey, man, hey, you guys, just like the other night, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I done had the show on for a little bit here. Um, and yeah, man, y'all doing amazing. And then I'm back on with y'all this weekend for sure, man.
I bet.
You might as well do the outro.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
we
may as
closing it
well.
out?
You're here. Yeah, we're done.
Oh, we closing out? Oh, okay. But hey, appreciate y'all for watching. People who tuned in. Couple things. I did the ice, but you did the Speak Your Mind challenge today. D-Lo, I'm waiting on you because Tone tagged you.
I'll probably do mine tomorrow. Yeah.
Come on, dog.
Yeah,
I
check those
know.
out
I
if you
know.
want
I'm
to laugh.
slacking. I'm slacking.
New Wave episode dropping tomorrow. Tone and I recorded that last night. New episode dropping tomorrow. That'll be out in the morning. This weekend we're all back. All back together. And I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been a while since I've kind of been on a full show, obviously running around crazy. Sister's got it's been crazy.
Speaking of the wave show, Lo,
You got it, dog.
Yeah, I was wanting to, but I worked yesterday, so I couldn't stop by. And Tone told me that y'all was recording, and I'm like, dang, I'd love to. But
No. We
I also know that Jamal don't like any white folk on the Wave show.
see there you go.
So
See there you go. See now you putting that
oh,
business out there.
you ain't the host?
I was gonna say that's not even my show, bro. That's not even my show.
oh, I
There you
know
go.
it's a triple OG Tone show, but
Yeah.
hey, let me tell you, Maul don't like no white folk on the.
Uh, uh,
Shame on you, Mo.
that's on me. That's on me. That's my.
That's
on me. No, D-Lo, I love you, boy. You know you my dog. But yeah, man, a lot of good stuff coming. So definitely look out this weekend. A lot of new content dropping. I'm recording a few new videos for the second channel, so that will be on that. Hopefully that gets done this weekend as well. Other than that, shout out to y'all boys, man. Y'all the real MVP. Especially this past week, filling in and holding it down. So appreciate the hell out of y'all.
Holding it down.
Yeah, what's the outro again? It's been a little while.
Come on, man.
It's nice to be important.
But it's
Nah. See, there you go.
Much.
You cutting it short. You see, there's a lot.
That's the you know what I'm saying? That's the
Oh yeah, the knockout punch. But as always, if nobody else is gonna tell you, I'll tell you, I love you. You matter. I'm proud of you. Keep going, waking up every day. You still have, if you are alive and breathing today, that means you have a purpose. That means you have meaning, and God is not done with you on this earth. So be grateful for every day that you wake up. And as always, it is nice to be important, but it's much more important to be nice. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. These two idiots have been holding it down, and it's been great. Love these two guys. And
bro just said it's much more important to be nice, and then called us a bunch of idiots.
You can close it out now. You can close it out.
That's crazy. Every time.
Hold on. You close.
I do that every time.